Does anyone here ever feel like they aren't fit enough to lead or change the world? That you might be too young, unqualified, or too small? I generally believe that we are all capable of saving the world in our own unique ways. And today with me is one of the stars from the new Netflix film, We Can Be Heroes, that focuses on just that. Everyone, please give it up for Andy Walken. Hi, Andy. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. How's your day going?
Well, it's another day in quarantine.
Another day in quarantine. Has that been like super dull for you? Were you able to film at all when all of this was going on?
No, unfortunately. I wish I could though.
When did you? So you just released your new film, We Can Be Heroes, and was that filmed prior to COVID?
Yes, the filming started in June of 2019 and ended in August of 2019.
Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations on your big film. Like, that's a really remarkable I mean, you're 14 and you get to be in a huge Netflix film. Like, that's phenomenal. Like, what is your, like, do you wake up feeling like you're living the life?
I mean, it's pretty dang exciting. I am so happy I got to do it, and it's just regular life still.
Are you in school?
Yes, I do online school, so every day I do math, science, English, history, all that jazz.
Were you in online school because of your filming, or are you in online school from COVID, or both?
I mean, I'm an online school student because I don't really need to go to regular school. Everything I need is kind of online. Plus, when I was going to school, it started to interfere with acting, and I get the same education from online, just sitting in my pajamas in front of my desk.
That's fascinating. Do you have a lot of friends from school that you get to, like, spend time with?
That's the only downside with online school. It can get kind of lonely, but I do socialize with my other castmates from We Can Be Heroes a lot. Like, we get on FaceTime calls and play games, all that.
That's awesome. Are you friends with a lot of the cast from your movie?
Yeah, I'm friends with all 11 of them. I talk to Yaya Gosselin and Nathan Blair a lot, and I also talk to Hala Finley and Lyon Daniels a lot, so we speak a lot, yeah.
That's awesome, man. And I can imagine, though, that we see a lot of childhood stars go through a period of their life where they seem to be a little bit isolated, and that it is a little bit lonely for some of them. Do you experience that a lot, or do you have a core group of people that you can go to?
I mean, I've experienced it a lot more in quarantine, but it helps that I am quarantining with my family, so it's good to have an emotional support part of that, and it's definitely helped keep me sane.
Yeah, no, and I love that you have that. I'm also really impressed with the way you present yourself. You speak really, I can't even speak. You speak really well for being a 14-year-old. I'm really impressed with that. What was the experience like for you to work on this film with the director, Robert Rodriguez? Because Robert directed Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl, so he's this big-time director. Like, what was your experience with that?
I mean, it was pretty cool. I got to work with the director who filmed some of my favorite movies from my childhood. I mean, I remember watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl so often in front of the TV on repeat on weekends with my sister, so often. And I also remember watching it in the car on our TV screen because our minivan had one of those. It had a DVD player and all that. I just remember watching a ton of movies, including Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Spy Kids, basically wherever I went.
That is so cool. I think a lot of people, wonder what it would be like to be able to work in their movie with, like, one of their childhood, from one of their favorite stars, for a favorite director. You got that opportunity. Were you starstruck when you first met Robert?
I mean, yeah, it was so cool. I met him as soon as I got to the place, or to Troublemaker Studios, and it was just like, well, here he is. Okay, just act calm, don't geek out, don't ask questions. And it was certainly cool. I got to be a superhero in his movie.
That is so cool, man. That is,
Yeah.
again, like people, I think people think about like what that would be like to be in those shoes. And so that's really cool to hear you do that. Do you have like, I don't know, do you have like an embarrassing moment of like, did you like ever like just like blurt, like say something out loud that you just wish you didn't say because you were nervous? Or do you have an embarrassing moment with him?
An embarrassing moment? Probably I rolled over his feet once.
You rolled over his feet?
Yes, in the wheelchair, I accidentally rolled over his feet when into training, and I'm just like, I am so sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, what is your like, where do you see yourself, or where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
My dream in 10 years is probably living in LA here, working a lot, just enjoying my life. I don't really care about fame or fortune or all of that. I do this for the fun of it. It just gives me a sense of satisfaction and joy just filming and doing work and auditioning. It's a feeling I love.
That's fascinating. What is the like, you're not doing it for the fame and fortune. I think that's very admirable of you. What I'm trying to think of, like, what is that like? You enjoy the like remembering scripts, or you like having a schedule like presented to you? Like, what is it about that like acting career that like is such a drive for you?
It's the joy of creating characters and the world around them and their thoughts and actions and all of that. And when I do it right, everything just clicks and the world falls away. And there's no more of Andy Walken's problems or thoughts or actions, and it's just my characters. And I can't describe that feeling other than pure, raw joy.
That's awesome. It sounds like you are able to like abstract from reality, go into another world, and then kind of get lost in this other world.
Yeah,
exactly. Does that sound right?
That sounds exactly right.
If you were going to say, like, what are those problems that you do experience that you're like hoping, like, is there any like problems in your life that you experience a lot? So it's like nice to escape this reality world and go into this other world. Like, what are those problems? What does that look like for you?
I mean, I've enjoyed having auditions during quarantine because it's also brought me out of the world we're currently in and has put me in something that feels nicer, happier, and just different. We don't in the world that I audition in, there's no COVID, there's no problems. It's just pure, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like when all said and done, what would you like Andy Walken to be known for in the world?
Andy Walken to be known for?
When all said and done, what is that thing that you would like people to say at your funeral about you?
Get up and try. Just never give up. He never gave up, and he just lived his life to the fullest.
That's wonderful. That's you seem like you have a lot of perseverance, and that I think is so important for people to achieve success, especially in your industry, but also in any industry. I think that like not giving up is super important.
Yeah, I was a competitive figure skater a while ago when I was still living in Seattle before I started acting. And I was working on double jumps and all of that, and you would fall like 20 to 30 times a lesson on different jumps or anything. And I remember I fell a lot on the double lutz, but I remember knowing what I was doing, fixing it, and then landing it almost every other time. And it felt great, but then like 2 weeks later, I would lose it, and then it came back. Like when I was working on my axle, I lost it for almost a year. And when I got it back, it was bigger and better than ever, and it was a soaring feeling.
That's awesome, man. That's amazing that you did skating. That's a really cool and seemed really difficult activity to do. I was watching the movie I, Tonya the other day, and I was just watching how.
How is it?
It's phenomenal. I love the movie. You should totally check it. I don't know how appropriate it is for someone under 18, so maybe I'm not telling you to watch it, but in a few years, maybe watch it. It's pretty vulgar, but there's some good in it. But Andy, it's been such an honor to be able to get to talk with you. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
No problem.
I'm really excited to see your career flourish, and I'm really excited to see your works down the road. And we'll have to see you again. All right?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and
You too.
we'll see you soon.
All right,
Thanks,
you
Andy.
too. Bye.